Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Gonna read through the full article. There's a link in the description. Before I do, I'll give you a trigger warning. This involves the murder of a 1-year-old boy. Before we go through the full article, I'll just give you my overview. I may get a couple of the details wrong, but we will go through the article thoroughly to make sure that they're all right. It's in regards to this absolute scumbag, Alex John Radulovich, a 23-year-old man in Michigan, and he's currently in jail with no bond. He's admitted to the murder of his girlfriend's 1-year-old son. So as far as I understand, he's not the father. It's his girlfriend's son, and he's admitted to having murdered her. So this happened on February the 5th, and essentially he was at home alone, I think in an apartment, and he was looking after the 1-year-old boy. The boy's name is Alexander Butler, who was known as Zan. So he was looking after little 1-year-old Zan. Naturally, Zan was crying. That's what babies do, I'm quite sure. And this fucking scumbag, Alex John Radulovich, was getting frustrated. So what did he do? He killed the baby. He slammed the baby down onto the ground multiple times, allegedly, according to this article, and slammed the baby down multiple times. He then put the baby back in the crib. The baby was still alive at this point. He put the baby back in the crib, and he went for a walk. If I understand correctly, we'll read through the article to make sure we got everything right. But he went for a walk. He met up with a friend. He went back to the apartment with his friend. The friend noticed that the baby was bruised and had a bloodied face, a purple lip, and at which point this scumbag Alex John Radulovich called 911. And we'll see in the article, but essentially, subsequently, little Zan died. So let's have a look at the details more thoroughly. A 23-year-old man in Michigan is behind bars this week after police say that he brutally murdered his girlfriend's 1-year-old son by slamming the child into the ground multiple times. Alex John Radulovich was taken into custody and charged on Tuesday with 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder and 1 count of first-degree child abuse in the death of Alexander Zan Butler. According to a probable cause affidavit, Radulovich on the morning of February the 5th was watching the little boy, Zan, his girlfriend's son, at their home in downtown Grand Rapids. The child's mother, Alyssa Butler, reportedly left at approximately 5:45 a.m. that day for a job that she'd only recently got. A few hours later, at approximately 9 a.m., officers within the Grand Rapids Police Department and emergency medical services personnel responded to a 911 call from the residents about a baby that was not breathing. Upon arriving at the scene, emergency medical services paramedics attempted to resuscitate the 11-month-old Zan, who was described as having purple lips. Zan was transported to a local hospital but was pronounced dead a short while after arriving at the facility. Police took the scumbag Radulovich in for questioning, and though he reportedly offered contradicting stories about what had happened to the child, he allegedly admitted to growing frustrated and admitted to ruthlessly murdering the baby. Radulovich told investigators that he was kneeling on the ground. You know what? I'll give a trigger warning here. This is going to be fairly detailed, I guess fairly graphic in regards to what he did to the child, to the baby. So you may not want to listen to this part, but I'll read through it. Radulovich told investigators that he was kneeling on the ground when he wrapped his fingers around Zan's chest and slammed the child to the ground 2 to 3 times. What a sick fuck. What an absolute lunatic. After that, Radulovich told police he tried to splash waters on the child's face, but the baby didn't wake up. Instead of seeking medical attention for the child, Radulovic allegedly put the boy back in his crib and left him alone in the apartment for some time whilst he went for a walk. Whilst out, the scumbag Radulovic reportedly smoked a cigarette and met up with his friend Orion Wolak, who then returned to the home with him. So they both returned to the home. Upon entering the home, the friend, Orion Wolak, reportedly told police he heard Zan made a sound he described as a groan. When he went to investigate, he reportedly told police the child had severe bruising around his head and purple lips. That is when Radulovic, the scumbag, reportedly called 911. When asked what motivated him to savagely slam the baby into the ground multiple times, Radulovic allegedly told cops that Zan's fussiness, crying, and irritability drove him to harm the boy. He also reportedly said that he was angry at the fact that Alyssa left him alone with the baby when the baby gets like that. I mean, this guy, I'm going to interject a little bit. I'm going to say something from the top of my head, and it may not be a very good point, but doesn't he sound like, I mean, obviously he's sick as fuck, pardon my French. He's sick, he's evil, but doesn't he sound like grossly immature? To be upset that his girlfriend's left him alone with the baby. I mean, to have that as any level of justification for murdering a baby, I don't know, just the term immature springs to mind, but either way, just severely evil. The article goes to tell us the scumbag Radulovic then said he got upset and accidentally did the wrong thing. During his arraignment Tuesday morning, the scumbag's attorney said his client had requested counselling for a variety of mental health issues, but is claiming innocence. I'm sorry, buddy, but you've said, this article says that you admitted to having killed the baby, so you're not innocent. Thankfully, he's being held by the police without bond. So there's this absolutely disgusting story here. Alex John Radulovic, do you know this guy? Fucking hell. What an absolute scumbag. Of course, condolences to the mother and the extended family. And let's just hope that the trial goes through. There seems to be adequate witnesses. He seems to have confessed. He seems to be playing the mental health illness card. We've seen that a lot. I may research that more just so that I've got a better understanding of mental health illness claims. Like, just, you know, from a legal point of view, but from a moral point of view, ought that allow someone some kind of leeway in regards to sentencing? For me, in this case, no, not at all. This guy is an evil scumbag, mental illness or not. Fuck this guy. He deserves, for me, it would be a death penalty. That's what I would go for. And if that isn't available in the state of Michigan, then life imprisonment. Why not? The only reason why not is because it's a cost to the taxpayer. That is the only reason. It's not an insignificant reason. But I would put him in general population and then see what happens.